Okay, got it. And got it. All right. So, I do have some images selected on my computer, so I will move the camera over so you can see the images. But I'm going to, I can't really do this one at the same time. Because what I want to show you is, take the camera out here. This, so a bunch of images here of people. So this image of this man standing like that. We want to, when we're doing gesture drawings, we're talking about the line from the head to the foot. So it's not a straight line either. It's sort of curved around. So when you're drawing that, you can actually exaggerate it. So if I come back here, I'm just going to hold the camera with my hand. Like curve it around like that. That's not as curved as he actually is, but we're exaggerating it. So if I go back to this one, he's got sort of a straight line across there from his elbow to his shoulder, and then it comes up, right? So I'll get that in, curve it down, bring his arm up. I also want to show direction of his face, so that's sort of the way he's looking that way. So that's his head, right? Then if we go back again, I'll forget about this arm for now, but this one, this leg's coming up. Oh, it's touching his elbow almost, and then straight down. So it's like a zigzag in his foot. So I'll go back to this one. Think of where I want the hips to be. Bring that leg up and down. Put a little foot in, like that. Then we'll do this arm. Bit of a round in there, it's a nice shoulder, and his hand curved. So again, shoulder, arm coming down, forearm, and then his hand. And that's pretty much it. Like I'll put the camera back in. So I have that. So then I could add to this. I could add in the curve of his leg. That's where his knee is, down to his foot. That's on the page, on his camera. So it's just a gesture of the action, a gesture of the pose. I can put in more detail of where the body goes, like so. So this is his body, like that. There's his head. So it's still not anatomically correct. It's not an exact copy of that picture. Hang on, I'll hold them next to each other. It is just an idea of that pose. Like that. So if you saw someone in this pose, you could do a really quick drawing just with gesture lines to remind you to then draw something, draw that pose again later on. So I'm going to show you another one. Here. Excuse me. This one. Yeah, okay. So I just had to check them because there's some nudes here and I can't be showing those. So I want to show you these. I want you guys to, I'm going to hold the camera here for a bit. I want you guys to give it a go. Just do one of these. Choose one, and I want you to do the line of action to begin with. So like for this one, head down to the foot. There's a nice curve in that one. Same with this one. You could curve it down to that foot or this foot. I'd probably do that one. And this one as well, curve it down to that foot. But remember to exaggerate the pose a bit. And so exaggerate that curve. What I've typed in here, just so you know, is gesture drawing model. So if you want to look up some models to practice this later on, they are probably 95% child friendly. Now and again, you'll get a nude. Sometimes, most of the time, they're wearing costumes like this. So yeah, start off with your line of action, head to toe, exaggerate it slightly, and then you can do lines just for the other limbs, or you could try and draw around the curve. So like the curve around her bottom down to the inside of her knee. You could draw that curve instead of just drawing a straight line. You can draw the curve on this side and then the curve on the top. Like in this leg here, there's sort of a big curve on the outside of that thigh muscle where it's a little straighter on the inside, but she still has a curve for a bottom there. To show the shoulders, you could also curve it around like a C or even a J kind of shape. And other bits you can keep straight, like this bit under here, sort of straight, put that in straight, put that one in straight, but do a curve on the top. So just do one of those and I'll give you another minute or so to finish, and then we'll have a look. So this is something, if you go into college to do the arts and things like that, more than likely you're going to do life drawing, and they will have real models come in. If you're at university, they're usually nude models, different ages, different genders. I hit the button and change the picture on you. There you go. But it's all really good to understand anatomy and posing, and that's what we're trying to do today. We're going to draw some poses, characters in different poses. Okay, so that's about it. So why don't we see what you guys have done? Oh, almost ran over my dog's head with my chair. Cool, Jensen. Little blobby legs, that's funny. Kai, cool, yeah. Riley, that's good. And iPhone, whatever your name is, iPhone, that looks cool. Alex, that's good. Yeah, so you're getting it. It takes practice. Audrey, that's great too. So it does take practice. And even, just unfold this one again. And even if I'm making up a pose, I'll still sort of use those gesture lines and things just to come up with something. Just so say I want to do someone kneeling down, I'll still get sort of that line in. So there's the curve, and there's sort of their foot, and then their other foot, sort of like, you know, like this. Maybe they're kneeling, but they're looking up. So it's just a way to sort of rough out your drawings. I just saw someone wrote in the chat, but I haven't got the chat open, sorry. Oh, I'm sure that's okay. No worries. So yeah, so let's think about some poses. I'll come up with a couple. I'll use some of these gesture drawings that I've got on my other screen. But if there's something in particular that you guys want to draw, Jensen, that's a cute dog. If there's particular poses you guys want to draw, put it in the chat, and I'll try and get to them. But just for now, I'm going to choose another pose that I've got here in the screen. Actually, there's some nice ballerina ones. It's just here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the picture, but then I'm going to draw it. So this is the picture. It's like a dancer or a ballerina. She's got ballet shoes on, so she's a ballerina. And it's sort of like a nice fairy pose or something like that. Or, you know, she could be, if you change the arms up, she could be just bending over weirdly or kicking someone. I don't know. She's jumping around kicking someone. So that's the basis pose I'm going to use. So let's use that. Riley, you want to do some snowboarding or surfing? Snowboarding, surfing, skating, so pretty much the same. Skating's really good too. If you look up skating images, you'll see some great poses. But to begin with, let's all do this one together. So I'm going to start with her head. And like she's sort of just facing to the side. You don't have to put an arrow in there. I just sort of just did it just to show you. So that's the head. Then her neck's coming down slightly. And then her body is curving. To make it really simple, her body is sort of curving back to her bottom that's sticking up. And then her leg is coming almost to the middle. So I'm going to exaggerate a bit and bring it past a bit like that. So that's sort of the simplest form of that pose. But I want to add more to that. So her shoulders are up here and here. And her arm is coming back and then sort of changes angle. And her other one comes from here, sort of like that. Her back is bent down. Then her waist and her bottom curving up. And so I see both butt cheeks. Zoom in a little bit, just focusing on the bottom now. Now on the front of the body, well, we actually haven't done her hands either, but also on the front of the body, she has her breast. Now, you don't have to put heaps of detail in, just show where there's one there and there's one on the side, because it's changing her profile, so at least do this one. And then it comes down to her ribs, which comes around and then it goes in, and then her belly. So I'm doing this pretty dark just so you can see a bit better. Her legs, I'm just looking at now. It's sort of straighter on the inside and curved on the outside. Then her knees in the middle there. And her calf muscle sort of curves and comes in, and this side sort of sticks out a bit more and then comes in. And then down to her foot. That was off the page, sorry, when I drew that. So her other leg is visible. So you're going to see it on this side. It sort of just hides behind there. And then it sticks out on this side down to her foot. So this is a bit more detailed than a gesture drawing now because we've added so much more shape to it. But this is still a good starting point for an actual finished drawing for a pose of a character. Just rubbed out some of those lines. You could turn these arms into full wings. So I'm just turning this around so I can sort of get roughly in. So her wing would be out like that. I don't know if that's too visible there. I did it pretty lightly. Or she could, you know, then have, instead of, she could just have an arm and then have like big butterfly wings or dragonfly wings coming out of like her shoulder blades as well, like if it was a fairy. So it sort of depends on the character you want to draw. Riley, that's really good. It depends on the character you want to draw and what they're going to be doing. So I think like once you guys come up with a character, maybe go looking for some poses and think, well, you know, this might be something that character would do, whether it's like snowboarding, it might be a snowboarding character, or if I go back to the computer here, like these ones here, like this is a fighting pose, like you're doing kickboxing or something like that. That might be a good pose. Here's some more sort of fighting poses where there's sort of a fighting pose as well. It might, you know, it might just be some dancing things or just running. I'm just trying to find some other ones I can show you. Sometimes you find people in costume as well, like with weapons and things like that. Can't show you a few of these ones. This is interesting, like someone who's standing with a weapon. Just that pose kind of thing, like a statue kind of pose. Here is pulling on something. So it's interesting that you can look at the structure of the muscles and things like that and add that detail in. Here's some sword fighting, like leaping with the sword, and then, you know, having battles and stuff. Lots of dancers and things like that, ballerinas and stuff. But I think you're best to actually search for that particular, not just models, because there is a lot of nudes. And I don't think your parents would appreciate that. So let's just go to snowboarding, because that was our first one in there. So I've just typed in snowboarding. Nice and simple. And there's so many different poses. Like it's a sort of squatting one, squatting or jumping, you know, doing a big slide like that, falling on your butt. So there's so many. Like even this one over here is pretty cool. So I'll pick one of these. Maybe we'll do like one like that, where he's holding the bottom of it and jumping in the air. New page. So so for that pose, I think it's going to be easier to start off with the actual snowboard. Okay, so I've got that angle, so the snowboard's round at one end. Is it? Yeah, it's a bit straight at the other end. So if you get that in first, it gives you something to work with. What about some of those extra bits? And then, yeah, looking at the picture, I can then sort of judge where things are going to go. For example, there's a foot sort of sticking out there, about halfway, and then there's another foot sticking out that way, slightly off to the side. I know that the knees, or I can see the knees are sort of the same height, so I could just drew in a really light line to show where they're going to go, and sort of coming up there and coming up there. And right in the middle, there's a hand. And this is probably the only line of action I can see. And it's so from going up one arm across the shoulders to the other arm that's sort of out here. Sort of like that. And the other arm's out here. And the face is just above this knee. Some goggles. So that's just like a very simple breakdown of this drawing. You could then add in so much more. Add in details of like his puffy clothing and picking up his jacket and things. Can't really tell his jacket. And then even like the snow that's coming out from behind him sort of has a shape to it as well. Sort of all splattered up. Another one, I'll just do another one just down here. Sort of just cruising along, which is very similar to a skateboardy one as well. Let's get sort of a nice curve in, exaggerated a bit. This is going to be the head, sort of facing out that way. Get that arm in, show some different thickness shapes in it, so it's sort of straighter on one side and curved on the other, which makes it thin at the ends, thick in the middle. Little lobster hand. Bit of an angle here. So this is just someone sort of just coasting down the hill, down the slope, I should say. This hand's up high, like that. So we still get the feeling, you know, of someone moving in this direction. That's cool, Riley. Yeah, it's good. I like the jumping one. All right, so we've done a couple of snowboarding ones. Let's go for diving. God, how to spell diving? Do you? Who wrote diving? Jordan, did you mean skydiving? Did you mean underwater diving? Did you mean diving into a pool? What kind of diving? Okay, like Olympic diving. Okay. There's some great poses when people are holding themselves into a squat. I'll show you some of the poses. This is the first one that came up. But poses like that are cool, or even this one. That's really cool. But then you have ones where they're sort of tucked up like that and that. And then even like a I can't remember his name, but the guy from Assassin's Creed, as he jumps into the giant haystack. Look at this one. So halfway through a pose, there's a whole bunch of different ones there. Okay, so we'll do a couple of these. Oh, run out of paper. I'll go the other side. So do the ones with the sort of jumping backwards. It's a nice easy curve like that. Heads up this end. And it's sort of curved up, so they're looking sort of out this way kind of thing. Click on the image so it's bigger. So it's sort of wide. Well, this is a guy, so he's pretty wide at the shoulders, and then when it stretches around for his swimmers are about there. So then this sort of stretches. This one sort of gets a crease in there. It's got his legs almost straight here, but then curved on that side. And this leg's curved on that side. Can't see much of it there. And then the leg sort of changes to then being straight on the other side. His feet are sort of folded over each other there. Got his belly button. His rib cage. Now, of course, his arms are pulled up. His pectoral muscles are also pulled up into his underarm, which is there and there. Then he's got one arm crosses over this way. So there's underarm, his upper arm, his forearm, and then his hand. And on the opposite side, sort of curves around and his hands sort of cross over. So his other hand's there. You have a little bit of forearm and upper arm. I'll get him in the whole shot. There we go. So he's diving this way. So there's more information I could put in, like his ribs. He's got bumps in his ribs. His abs are slightly noticeable. He's got more stuff happening in his neck. But I'm still trying to keep it simple, even though we're drawing from a pose. Just looking for another one. Might be one. So how'd you all go with that one? Nice, Fidjar, that's good. Jensen. That's great. He looks like a little bean man. That's great. Audrey, that's really good. Amisha's good too. Is that the arms? You did the arms straight instead of bent. Okay. Are you still going? Or can we move on? Are you still drawing that one? Are you drawing something completely different? Kai, I'm talking to you. Yes. All right, we're going to move on. We'll move on to another pose. We're going to do another diving one. If there's anything else you want to draw, put in the chat. I'm going to do this one down here. So I'm going to do this one now. That pose. So from the head to the toe, it's like a nice big curve. And then you can see how the arm crosses over and grabs the back of the calf muscle. So we can make that fit in as well. So to start with, I'm just going to draw sort of that shape, like a fish hook. So this is the bottom, this is the back. Her head is here, looking this way. Ponytail sticking out there. Don't need to put that in. The shoulder is up high. So I've got the shoulder sort of coming up high, the arm coming down, and then the forearm grabbing onto the leg. So coming down the back. It's actually got a bit more of an angle to the back there. And then it curves around for her bottom. And then we turn into her legs. Oh, ice skating. That's a good one. Dancing. Okay, so her thigh is curved on top. So curving to here. And underneath we can just sort of make it straight. And then where her knee is, sort of straightens out, a bit of a curve this way. Oh, weightlifting, that might be cool. With her calf muscle coming into her foot, which is also pointed. Excuse me. And then it's just her, so you can see a bit of her breasts and her belly in there. Yeah, that's about it. I'll just draw a swimsuit on so she's not naked. It's got strapped down here, goes to the back, and then like that, and then there's a hole at the back. So she could be, you can sort of look at that in any position, really. She could be sitting on the ground, bending over. She could be sitting, lifting her legs up, or leaning back slightly, lifting her legs up. So she could be on her back, throwing her legs over her head, which is basically what she's doing because she's doing a somersault. Actually, I'm not sure if she's going that way or if she's going that way. Actually, she's spinning that way because her hair's kind of dragging that way. So she's going this way. Okay, I'll let you guys finish that. I'll look for new ones. Everyone, you've picked all sporting things you want to try drawing poses of. Okay, let's try and get something interesting for ice skating. That might be cool. Okay, how did everyone go with that second diving one? Let's have a look. Oh, nice, Vidya. That's good. Alicia, yeah, cool. Audrey. It's really bendy legs. That's great. Okay, I need to get some more paper out of my drawer. So we're going to do for ice skating, we're going to do this one. So see the nice curve from her head through the body to the leg at the back. That's where we're going to start. And then we'll build the front leg off that and the arms and the head. Out of there. Okay, so we're going to start with that curve from the head with that leg sticking right out the back. So I'll get the head in first. The head's sort of on an angle this way and the eyes are up, sort of tilted slightly, sort of that. And then from her neck sort of comes down to her chest and then down for her skirt. There's a shoulder back there that you can barely see. And then there's a shoulder here. Got her arms like that. Now, there's not much shape shown in her body, top of her rib cage, sort of there, because her dress is sort of kicking out. So we can do a little bit of the body, the upper body, the rib cage, and then it's sort of coming down and then flicking out like that. And that is her costume. It's a bit wavy and stuff. I've just done it straight. So ripples and things in it. We can sort of add that back in. Okay, so that's her dress. I guess they're called dresses, I don't know. My sister-in-law does competitive ice skating, but I don't know much about it. So before we get back into this one, we'll do the leg on this side. So it's coming out, so curving up. Then you can almost do it straight down. And then the thigh is curving, the underside thigh is curving up. And then this one's sort of coming down a bit. The skating boots are pretty thick. Yeah, put detail in the boot like that. Then her other leg is coming out the back. Right, her thigh is coming down about there. Her knee is almost at the top of at the edge of the dress. And then we got her calf and her shin. And then another boot, and this one's sort of pointed. It should probably be on the same level as that. I've drawn it a bit higher. It should really be about there. Down to there. So I did draw mine quite long enough. And then lastly, we've got the arms to do. So I'm just going to move this up and zoom in a little bit. So her forearms sort of coming up, and then her hands are sort of pointing in directions. She's got her this finger and the pinky finger pointing out, and these ones down. So it's sort of like, oh, can't see a thumb either. Sort of seeing that. So one pinky and the ones in between, like that. Her other hand is popping up from the back of her head. Same sort of thing. 1, 2 in the middle, and then 1. So there's that. Let's do another ice skating. Try and get one when they got their leg up in the air. That's interesting, I think. Okay, so just while you're thinking that on, I'll show you what we're going to do this one next. So we'll go from the head and then curve it up to the foot that's up behind the head, one that's lifted up. So do this one, and then you can show me both skaters. Move over this way. So the curve for this one's going to go from the head to the waist and then back up like that. It's like a big U, almost a full circle. So this is where her head's going to be here. So slightly looking up and out. Small. So we can have her neck coming down. Her shoulders are at this angle, with one arm sort of out and the hand pointed down. And there's not much shape in there. You could add a little bit of shape. That arm. And the other arm is touching the chute. So we'll put the shoulder in. And again, it's pretty straight on the top. Hand down. A little bit of forearm and then underarm. Pineapple and turtles. Okay. I just saw that. And can we add more things to it? You can add whatever you want to it. Who's that? Tobias. You can add whatever you want to it. So the body on this one, the body sort of turned towards you, like towards the viewer. So this way. So you're not seeing a lot of shape. So it's a bit triangular. So down here, and then you've got the skirt kicking up there. She does have a bit of a skirt on. Control that here. There's a bit of a curve on this side from her breast, but it's not that important to draw in. Now, the leg that's coming down, sort of down this angle. So I'm gonna keep it straight on the inside down to the calf muscle. And the calf muscle is pretty straight, but then as we get up the leg back to the top of the thigh, it sort of curves out again. And I can't see her foot in this shot, but I'll do it similar to the other one. Skating boot on it. As well as we're running out of time. So the one at the back is sort of angled up like so. And then calf and the boot. So once you've done that, lift it up and let me see both your skaters. Move it over a little bit more, Audrey, other way. There you go. Cool, nice. That's good, Jensen. Amisha, wow, that's a really long leg. That's great. For sure, nice. Yeah, good job.
Can you turn on the cameras, everyone? Because we want to see your work. Because otherwise we don't know. Thank you.
We don't know what you're doing.
You might be sleeping and we don't even know. So please turn on the camera.
A few of them are talking in the chat, so I know that they're awake. James, you did a weightlifter. That's pretty cool. Good job. Same. Oh yeah, that's cool. It's a bit hard to see at first with the glare on the screen, but that worked. Good job. Jonathan. Oh, there you go. I was gonna say it won't show. That's cool, Alex. Yeah, Jonathan, if you've got a background on, it doesn't always work. You sometimes have to turn it off. That's pretty good, Jonathan. Really good. Nice work. Okay, we've only got about 10 minutes left. Kai, you want to show me something that you drew while I find this new thing? Oh, that's cool. Is he like a fish dude? You have multiple arms as well? Wow. That's pretty cool. I like that. Because someone wrote turtle, I thought I'd skip those, and for the last one we'll do an animal. But turtle, having a bit of trouble finding something nice. Because they are just basically the one shape. But I guess we could simplify it down. Let's see, where was that one? I found one and then went past it. Now I can't find it again. This one will do. Okay. So we're going to do the last couple of things. We're going to do turtle. So see that turtle. Don't really have a line from head to foot, unless you count sort of under the chin and to the back, sort of along here. But this big flipper is going to be interesting as well. So we've got a few different curves we can put in there. It's a cool photo actually with that light coming through. So let's just do that. Rusheng, you just finished the ice skater? Is that what you're talking about? I'm just going to my Patreon. So for that turtle, let's start with that line underneath the shell. So from the head sort of a boxy shape here with an eye there. Under the neck to the back of the, sorry, I didn't realize it wasn't in the middle of the screen, to the back of the shell. And then actually you could come from here up through the back of the head and down, then draw a little curve there to get that flipper. that other big flipper. Just get a nice curve in like that. Smaller at this end. And then big flipper. And the last thing I do is just sort of show where the shell goes. Right, you can see the back flippers as well, but they're just sort of sticking out the back. So that's only what we drew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-ish, say 10 lines to draw a turtle. It's not bad. What I was looking for was like a tortoise, because they got the big necks. And then there was one here. That's pretty cool. Snapping turtles are so cool. They're scary. I'm gonna look for a snapping turtle. There's one with his mouth open. Ah, look at these guys. Let's keep turtle, Audrey. Look at him. Ah, they look like that. And like when they got their head pulled in, sort of just like that. And then they go rah. And they can, I think they can bite through bone or something like that. They're pretty scary. Yeah, like look at the shell on that one, so it's sort of sticking up. That's quite an interesting picture. Let me try and draw that one. It looks like he's got a face a bit like a sloth. Oh, it's almost getting extinct. All right. That's going to be our last one, this snapping turtle, because we are running out of time. So I like the way the shell's up. So I'm going to start with the shell, actually, the curve of the shell up and down. Come in like that. So that's sort of the top of the shell, the outside of the shell. Then the inside of it sort of goes like that. It's like the top of a mushroom or something. And then down here is his head and big chin, which comes up to his leg. So this is where his mouth comes in. Sort of comes to a little bit of a point and then back like that. 2 little nostrils. And beady little eyes. And then this is actually where his shoulder is. So the other side of that is his bulky arm, and then you can add some claws in. Just drawing some of his wrinkles and things in as well. It does look like a bit of a mushroom, the way this is sort of coming up. His other leg, other front leg, his other arm is coming out here. Some little claws. We can just see his back leg and his tail. So sort of belly sits there. You can see some little claws at the back. and then his tail like that. So there you go. There's a snapping turtle. And that's going to be the last one we draw today. He doesn't have the spikes on his shell like some of the others do. But you could add those in if you really wanted to. Spike there, spike there, spike there. It's like Bowser. Spiked flavor. It's like some kind of weird mushroom creature with a mountain on top. Okay, so when you're done, let me see your twiddles. And then we are going to be done for the day. That's funny, Audrey. That's cool. Nice video. That's really good. I like it. Jensen. Oh, cool. Yeah, good, good. Anyone else that has their screen turned off? Oh, Rosheng, that's a nice snowboarder. Yeah. Amisha, I like your turtle. Yeah, that's really cool. What about anyone else there? Alex, Tobias, Gerard, Jordan. Kai is drawing weird robotic cockroaches. I like it. Okay, we are out of time. I don't know what we're doing next week. I don't have the thing in front of me. But I think we're moving on to something else. Peter, do you happen to have the schedule thing up there?
Let me have a look.
I've got a feeling that was sort of our last drawing techniques one.
Right. Comics class.
Yeah. What are we on now? Is it week 7?
Simple pose using skeleton and gesture.
That's sort of what we did today. Not so much skeletons though. And what's the next one after that?
Draw more advanced pose using skeleton and gesture.
Okay, so we're just going to ramp it up. Okay, so we're going to do that. We won't do any gesture drawing from photos next week. We will do more of you guys drawing your own characters and drawing your characters in poses. So what I said earlier about think of the character you want to draw in your comics, think about some of the poses they might use, look for those poses online, and we'll save them or print them out or whatever you can do. And then we'll work on those next week, drawing your characters in certain poses, doing certain things. So if you've got an athlete character, then you might want to get some people running and jumping, stuff like that. If you've got a lazy character, maybe someone just laying down or just lounging in different positions. You see cats in weird positions when they're sleeping. Yeah, if you've got something that's scary, maybe sort of monster poses where the character's sort of big up and over the top of someone else and trying to overpower them and be scary, those kind of things. So yeah, have a think about what you want to draw next week and try and find some poses for it, and then I can help you with those. And otherwise, I will see you next week. There is nothing else. Everyone has been unmuted.
Bye.
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 Thanks for
Bye.
listening.
Bye. Have a good week.
Thank you.